So I want to talk to you a little bit about one of the nice little tools that television production has. It really helps them out, and you've even seen them probably in public speaking and you didn't even think about it. And that is going to wind up being what's known as the teleprompter. And so what this basically is that it's a TV that's attached to a camera. And we're able to display some words off that. And then the talent who's reading that text looks like they know exactly what they're saying, what's going on, and in reality, they're just kind of scrolling through some text that they may or may not have read before. So basically, how it works is that you have your talent and you have a monitor that's mounted in front of a camera, and attached to that monitor, which is down here, you're going to have a piece of glass. It can be like a one-way or two-way glass. And it's at such an angle that when the camera looks through it, it does not see the text. It only sees what's beyond the glass, and that's going to be your talent. Now, when your talent is looking at the teleprompter, all they're seeing is just the text. They're not seeing the camera. And this kind of helps them get a little more familiar with the text that they're using. So in the realm of television studios, we tend to use this type of teleprompter that's mounted on the front of the camera. And then there's like a computer operator off to the side. Now, another type that we've seen used is what's known as a speaker teleprompter. And the same concept applies in that you do have a monitor that's displaying text. It's reflecting that text off of a piece of glass, and then your speaker is seeing that piece of glass. So now in this particular case, I've got the speaker. It looks like he's just looking at a set of empty glass, but from his perspective, he's actually seeing the text that's going into it. And you've seen the teleprompter used in a lot of different areas. A lot of public speakers will use it. Now, in this case, in the bottom left, this is what the speaker sees. They see the glass and they see the text that's being reflected off of it. But from the other angle, it looks like it's just a regular piece of glass. So if you've ever seen that, that is a teleprompter that the talent is using. Now, we've gotten also to the ability to where even things like our cell phones have the ability to record a video while scrolling through text. So there are apps out there that can be loaded onto your phone that you can put a script in, and then you can just record a video. And that's one of the ways that I've seen a lot of professional speakers constantly being able to articulate well without having to stop and think. And as I'm kind of getting stuck from time to time because I don't have a teleprompter to go from. But a lot of times when you do see a professional speaker reading off of a teleprompter, they've gone over that script a few times, so they're actually familiar with what it's going to say and what they're going to be speaking about. Now, when teleprompters first began way back, they started out as a very long sheet of continuous paper, and they even had people who would go in and hand draw all the text that was going to be fed into the teleprompter. In more modern times, that was replaced by using a computer and a printer that could print the text that without having to hand draw it. They would then take these really long sheets of continuous script and load them onto a conveyor belt. And that conveyor belt is attached to a camera and a light. And that is what would get recorded and sent to a video screen. So in this shot here, we have a teleprompter operator who has a conveyor belt that's just constantly feeding scripts through, and they're taking the next script and they're putting it down, so as it moves it's going to fall off into a trash can or something, and they'll place the next script on and it's ready to go. So we've moved on from paper scripts and conveyor belts and cameras. We're now using technology that's a little bit better. So in this case, we have a teleprompter that's being run off of a laptop. And then you can kind of see off on the right side of that laptop that there's a video cable going out to the teleprompter. And so we have an operator who has a little dial and he can speed it up, make it go faster or slower. You could probably also hit the buttons on the laptop to make that. So you have the ability for anchors to see a lot of text, and in this case there's even different types of text. So I've got a piece of text that says A11 Panda Watch Ron, and this has Ron in yellow, so we know that Ron is going to be reading the script. We also know that This is like bump A1, so Ron's going to probably be turning to camera 1, and he's going to say, coming up on Channel 4 News. And then we see the words here in VO, which means there's going to be video playing over while Ron's talking. And I'll talk about more about that in a future video. So the talent and the usually have something that they can always read off of. But if there's a glitch in teleprompter, then what do they do? Well, they just kind of keep going with it. And some people are so attached to their teleprompters that they're not really sure what's going to go next, and they'll just kind of read whatever is on the teleprompter, like this example here.
I don't know, just the thought of having cat hair on my pillow, it just grosses me out.
Don't tell camera operator Tom that.
I know he has one and he lets it sleep in his bed and...
He's got 2.
Exactly.
All right. In other news, I love lamp. What is it? Whoa, there you go.
Oh my God, he totally rolled
You
it.
got me. All right, that's a little joke. In other news, if you've seen an Anchorman.
Ryan will read anything that's put in the teleprompter, and that is just.
In other news,
right
I
there.
love lamp.
So in this case, this is one of the anchors who doesn't quite look at what's going ahead in the teleprompter, because it is hard to kind of read text as it's scrolling by. And so many times that she was able to successfully pull off in this joke that he will read anything that's put in teleprompter without reading it or without thinking about it blindly. And so he does have that happen. Now, one of the other things is what does happen when the teleprompter goes out. So the anchors should have the ability to look at what's going on and to see what they have. And for that, a lot of times the anchors will have a device in their hand that's usually going to be like an e-reader or a set of paper scripts that they can go in and read, because if prompter goes down, they can just suddenly pull up and read off the hard copy that they have as a backup. Now, one downside to this, like an e-device or an e-reader or paper scripts as your backup, is you have to make sure your backup is on the same page that you currently on, or the same story. So in this case, let's see what happens to a couple of anchors when they're not ready.
It was a somber gathering at the New Hampshire Fire Academy as first responders said goodbye to one of their own.
So you can see prompter's down. He's kind of moving through his scripts. She's going through hers, and they're on the wrong page. So fortunately for them, they have earpieces in, and their producer is able to tell them what's coming up.
Firing a weapon while arguing with one of his children.
WMUR's Ray Brewer has more on this.
So in this case, they had a double failure because their teleprompter went out as well as their backup camera. So they didn't have something to fall back on. Now, teleprompter is a really good tool to help out people in public speaking. It's also can be hazardous if you get too addicted to it, and that you're not able to improvise, or if teleprompter goes down, you're just stuck. One of the things we always recommend for our reporters and our anchors, that is, while you're in the middle of one story, once you've done an introduction and the story's playing, during that story, read the introduction for the next story. And if your teleprompter does happen to go out and you don't have your backup for some reason, you'll know what the story is about, and you can at least kind of get your way through. So that's a look at teleprompter and how it kind of helps save, and it helps the television industry as well